Patterns allow us to empower our applications by easily adding new features. When we apply a pattern, Genexus creates all the necessary objects to provide the desired behavior without the need for us to program them. For example, let's suppose that even though we have the country's transaction to enter, change, and delete countries, we also want to have an eye-catching page to query countries that shows all the existing countries, allows us to filter by country name, supports paging, and enables us to go to the countries transaction if we want to add a new country, modify it, or delete an existing country. To implement this quickly, we have a pattern called work with, and we'll now show you how to apply it to the country transaction. This pattern is available for web applications, like the one in the example, and also for smart device applications. We can see both patterns in the Patterns tab of the country transaction. We will now see how to apply the Work With pattern for web to the country transaction. In the country transaction, we select the Patterns section, we choose the Work With tab, click on Apply this pattern on Save, and save. Now, if we look for the country transaction here in Folder View, we can see that it has a plus sign because several objects are located below the transaction, which were created by Genexus when the Work With pattern was applied. Now we press F5 to run the application and take a look at what has been automatically generated just by selecting an option and saving. First of all, note that a link is displayed with the text Work With Country, which lets us work with a wider range of features. We click on this link and see that a page is open to show all the countries that we've entered. As we can see, for each line with a country, we have two images. This one lets us edit the details of the country in this line. If we click on it, we see that the transaction is opened and allows us to change the information related to the selected country. We'll add a city for France and confirm. This other image clearly offers us the option to delete the country in the line. And this image with the plus sign allows us to add a new country. If we click on it, the country transaction is opened, ready for us to add a country and all its related data. We enter United States and a city, New York. We confirm. Note that we can search by country name. If we type the letter F, it shows all the countries that begin with this letter. In this case, we only have France. Note that the country name contains a link. If we click on it, all the details of the selected country are displayed in the first tab, and another tab labeled City shows the list of cities that belong to this country. Notice that the upper section provides links to the pages that we have recently browsed. We choose to go back to Work With Countries. So we easily applied the Work With pattern to the country transaction, and now we'll apply it to the attraction transaction. To do this, we go back to Genexus, open the attraction transaction, open the Patterns section, and in the Work With tab, we select the option Apply this pattern on Save. Upon saving, all the necessary objects are generated to implement all the features that we've seen, in this case, to work with attractions. We check to make sure they were generated, and we'll press F5. Note that just like in the previous case, we're offered to work with attractions, and from there the transaction gets its name. We run Work With Attractions. Here we have the same query features that we saw for Work With Countries, and we'll use it to enter more tourist attractions. We add the Great Wall. It's in China. We select the path to the image and indicate that it's in Beijing. Now we'll add the Eiffel Tower. We type Eiffel Tower. It's in France. We select the path to the image and indicate that the Eiffel Tower is in Paris. Now let's suppose that we're asked, in addition to filtering by attraction name, to provide the ability to filter the attractions in a certain country. Let's see how to add another filter to work with attractions. Another request is that the grid shouldn't display the country or city codes. For that, we go back to Genexus. So far, we have only selected Apply this pattern on Save, and we've been able to see all the features that are automatically generated. What we haven't seen is this configurable tree. Let's take a quick look at this selection node that also says Work with Attractions, because below it are all the configurable options for the Work with Attractions element that will be generated. For instance, note that here we can see the operations that will be available to update the database, invoking the transaction to do so. If you don't want to offer all of them, you can customize them by pressing F4. Directly below that is the Attributes node, which contains the attributes that will be included in the Work With grid. Since we were specifically asked not to display the country or city identifier in each line, we'll remove them. We've also been asked to make it possible to filter all the attractions in a certain country. To do so, under Filter, we right-click on the Attributes node and click on Select Attributes. In this selection dialog, we choose Country Name. We are asked if we want the filter condition to be defined, and we select Yes. This condition is generated automatically, and it defines that what we type as characters of the country name should match the country name of the records to be displayed. We press F5 to see the result of the customizations we've made. As we can see, both filters are now on top. If we type F in country name, we see that only the attributes of France are displayed. If we also type the letter E in name, the only data item that matches both conditions is the Eiffel Tower. Note that if we type the letter E in the country filter, there are no records to be displayed that match these conditions. And if we indicate that the country name starts with a C, but don't enter any requirement for the attraction name, we see that the Great Wall of China is displayed. Now let's suppose that we're asked to make it possible to order the data in the grid, whether in alphabetical order by attraction name as we've been doing so far, or by country name as well. We go back to Genexus. And in this Orders node, we see that the ordering by attraction name is automatically provided. We right-click on Orders and select Add, Order. We give this order a name in the Properties section, such as Country. And we right-click on the node of the new order and select Add, Attribute. We select the Country Name attribute and press F5 to see what we're offered. Note that now we have a combo box labeled Ordered By that allows us to order the query's result by attraction name, or, if we select this option, the results will be displayed alphabetically by country. To end, we go back to Genexus and save the changes in GX Server. Here we've seen how easy it is to apply a pattern, in this case the Work With pattern. We've also seen the large number of features that are automatically generated, as well as the options to customize them as we want in order to adapt them to our needs. In this video, we saw the Work With pattern for web, and in an upcoming video we will see how to apply the Work With pattern for smart devices. In addition, there are other patterns that generate useful functionalities, and they can be viewed in this page.